Okay, let's talk about episode 5.
Our terms are simple, Lord Bracken. Renounce the false King Aegon as a usurper.
In this episode, we saw a broken man, a burnt king, and a traumatized soldier. In this episode, madness reached its peak. A prince became regent, and plans were brought to life. So what happens now? Will Aemond be a good prince regent? Will Daemon ever leave Harrenhal? And what on earth were Jace and Rhaenyra talking about in this scene right here? So episode 5 of season 2. Where do I even begin? I think the best way to describe this episode is the calm after the storm. Although the problem with that is that it kind of portrays a spirit of contentment. So maybe the dread after the war is more appropriate. This was a very somber episode. And in that spirit, I think the best place to start is Corlys. Poor, sweet Corlys. I mean, what more can he give? What more can this man give? I think the most despicable aspect about his misfortunes is that in all of them, Targaryens are involved. This man needs to steer clear of the psychopathic family, because now they have broken him. Corlys is a broken man. I mean, in a series of shameless incest, Corlys and Rhaenys were the epitome of relationship goals. Beyond that, the love they shared was amazing. And now that's gone. And that's very sad. Staying on the topic of Corlys, Rhaenyra has now offered him the position of hand. And I'm not sure if he should take it. What do you guys think? Because on the one hand, this could be a way to protect his wife's legacy. You know, this could be a way to get vengeance for his wife. But on the other hand, like I said, Targaryens come with a lot of baggage. So it's a big decision he's having to make here. Then we move from sorrow and loss to bad omens and stupidity. I mean, what is this? What on earth is this? So a decision was made that Malisa's head be paraded through King's Landing. The stupidity behind this decision is beyond me. I mean, this is Aegon low from Cole and Aemond. These are the starving folks of King's Landing. Now with that in mind, you thought parading a dead dragon would inspire them with hope and pride? Of course not, you hotheads. They're starving. To be honest, I half expected them to pull it down and eat it. Of course, this was going to scare them. In the reign of Viserys, there was peace, nourishment, and never would you have heard of the murder of a dragon. Now hunger has struck, and the beast's head is being paraded through King's Landing. I mean, it doesn't take a maester to see that this was going to be seen as a bad omen. But let's be honest, the dragon was more of a distraction. People of King's Landing, look at the dead dragon and pay no attention to your king in a box. Milk of the poppy all night long. That is Aegon's life now. Milk of the poppy. It is so sad for Aegon. Silent and broken. King but bedridden. All because he didn't want to look weak. Well, the irony is now, weak is an understatement. Then Aemond walks in and it's just another Tuesday for this bloke. No sympathy whatsoever. Then he said, someone will have to rule in his stead. This man has no shame. The better question is, why did you try to kill your brother, Aemond? Although besides the inappropriate timing, it was a valid point. Who will rule in his stead? We all want to know. Fast forward to the council meeting and Alicent putting herself forward was laughable. I mean, a woman? That's not what I'm saying. That's what they were thinking. And all this time, Aemond was just sitting there, quietly so, waiting for the inevitable. Because we all knew they were gonna pick Aemond. This council has been looming up Aemond for weeks now. And when the chance came to make him Prince Regent, they were not gonna let it slip. To be honest, I am now finding myself having mixed thoughts about Aemond. Because I know I said he's cruel, but aren't most Targaryen kings? The only thing he's missing is a little bit of kindness. But one might argue that's the last thing you need in the Westeros Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones and the Dance of Dragons. Right now, no one knows the latter better than Criston Cole. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a picture of a broken man. This is what dragons can do to a man. Full-blown PTSD. Maybe dying in a dragon fight is better. Maybe what's worse is living and being stuck with the memories of your terror. And what about that speech he gave about giving the war to the dragons and protecting Alicent? This dude better get his act together, because a traumatized hand really isn't good for winning wars. Although you get the feeling that trauma is about to become rather common in Westeros, because war is coming. Jace seems to think he can stop it, or at least win it for his mother. He's a little impulsive, Jace, isn't he? Maybe not Aegon impulsive, but impulsive nonetheless. So now he's snuck out and he's hoping that he can intimidate the Freys into letting them use that fancy little bridge. The twins, they call it. A very strange name for a bridge. But Jace is hoping that Cregan Stark and his Greybeards can cross this bridge and can fortify Rhaenyra's army. A Stark needing to cross a Frey bridge. Where have we heard that before? Let's just hope that these Freys aren't as deceitful as their descendants. And if so, that would make Jace the biggest winner in this episode. And all it took was Harrenhal in return. Easy, right? Wrong. Wrong, because Daemon is in love with Harrenhal. Like, guys, what is going on with Daemon? I mean, his Harrenhal crusade is turning into a comedy. I mean, if it's not talk of bat feces, it's this ridiculous haul, which might as well be a caricature. I mean, what on earth is Daemon thinking? He is not going to finish this project. Harrenhal really is a reflection of Daemon's ego. I mean, it's all good being confident, but as they say, don't just work hard and smart. This is definitely not working smart. That of blood and cheese wasn't a disaster enough. He goes and tries the trick again. He essentially suggested that the Blackwoods use any means necessary to persuade the Brackens to come join his cause. The same Blackwoods who are the lifelong enemies of the Brackens. I mean, how did he not foresee that this would turn into savagery? Season 2 Daemon really isn't impressive. And now he's done. He can forget about raising an army in the Riverlands. He's got the Lords of the Riverlands renouncing him at the Hour of the Wolf. Alice seemingly picking through his brain. And oh yeah, let's not forget the dream of him plowing his own mother. Just enough. Enough. Go home, buddy. Go home to mommy, lick your wounds, and live to fight another day. In fact, Rhaenyra really needs you right now. You need each other. Rhaenyra is low-key spiraling right now, if we're being honest. But alas, if I was a man, she would say. But you do get the feeling that if Daemon was around, this council would be in order. So, what heavens does she do? Well, whatever she wants. She's the queen, for God's sake. Rhaenyra's indecision will be the death of her. Although, I think we really need to talk about this conversation between her and Jace come the end of the episode. So Jace and Rhaenyra seem to be pondering using illegitimate Targaryen children and urging them to claim dragons. This of course would be for their loyalty in return, thus more fighting dragons on Rhaenyra's side. This would be a game changer, because I am now realizing that the Greens currently only have one fighting dragon. So if Rhaenyra can get riders for Vermithor and Silverwing, plus the dragons flown by Jace, Baela and herself, the numbers could be telling. If all this is to be believed, episode 6 is going to be amazing. But what's both exciting and terrifying is that there's a big risk in claiming a dragon. You must be prepared to lose your life.